Hey everybody, it's Boys of the Most Toys with you again, and today is How to Make Lego Transformers Primetime Episode 5. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how to make your Transformers look good in both modes. Well, there's no real hard science to this, but I think you have to do a little planning and you have to do a little thinking. So what you should do is get examples of Lego vehicles in the scale that you want. So this is actually a Lego Creator set. It's about 8 studs wide, and I base most of my vehicles in this kind of scale, so you can see. So this is kind of, use something as a model, and then you have to kind of figure out, how am I going to fit all the arms and things into this space. So that's kind of what you do first, I think, anyway, and kind of get an idea to what you want. And there's different vehicles you could use. You know, obviously, if you're making a Lego Transformer, you usually have an Earth mode, or you're making some creation of your own. What I like to do really is then to kind of draw out, and I'll just angle the camera for you, but you know what, if you're going to have a car or something like so, and don't laugh at my drawing skills, because I don't draw a lot anymore, but you know, you have your basic car shape or so, and then what you really want to do, right, is what I'd like to do is think of what sections are going to become what parts in robot mode. So for example, if I'm making something like this, maybe I would be making Sunstreaker or side swipe. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to mark these things out. So I kind of section them off. In robot mode, I kind of want this to be the chest. Okay. Then I kind of want to section other parts off, just very roughly. And I want this to be the arm. And then obviously I'm going to section this section off, and these are going to be the legs. So, and somewhere in here I'm going to hide the head on a hinge or something. So now do some basic planning, and then I want to plan out how I want to get from this or this to one of these guys, to the robot mode. So I start looking at what's going to fit there, what kind of pieces are going to fit there. So for example, you know, how am I going to make the head rotate forward? So I would be thinking of a piece like this, where you have the plates in, and then you can roll the head back sort of in here, right? So that gives you kind of an idea. Then I'm going to think, okay, well, what kind of space do I have here? So I'm going to have arms that are 1 stud wide, maybe, if this is going to be 8. And so I can use a joint like this, because that's 1 stud long, 1 stud wide, and I'm going to get rotation here, and I'm going to get movement like this. So how am I going to incorporate this joint into the design and still make it look like a vehicle? So you always have to be thinking of these kind of the duality of it. How's the robot mode going to look? Which part is the arm? What kind of joints am I going to use? I want it to look cool in both modes. So then again, I have more room for the legs. Maybe I'm going to put a part like this in, you know, and so forth. So I think this is people ask, how do you make them transform, and how do you kind of make them look good in both modes? Again, not exact science, but planning has a lot to do with it. And what I do basically when I'm designing or building one of these guys is, typically, if this was a transformer, I'd be continually transforming as I'm building it. So does it still look like the side of a car? And then when I flip it out, does it look like an arm? You know, things like that. You want to look for the good thing to do. You should print out pictures of what you want your alt mode to look like, what you want your robot mode to look like. If you're doing an existing character, for making your own, it's good to draw some things up or use LDD to kind of get some ideas and things like that. So that's some ideas. Again, I think I covered how to hinge out the head. I think somebody asked that on one of my other videos. Okay, so that's good for hinging out heads, and you'll see that in a lot of my car designs. This again, this is a very good joint, and you've seen on many of my other creations too. A ratchet and this pin ratchet kind of thingy, and then you can spin and you can go up and down. So that makes good arm joints. So there's another good one. You can go typically mixing Bionicle in with ball joints and stuff like that, and you get different effects. And then of course my favorite is a ratchet joint, which for the big guys like like these guys, you need a ratchet so they're nice and strong and sturdy. So again, it's a bit of planning. I think that's what you really have to work on. And again, people said, well, how do you make, you know, one that really transforms or really looks good in both modes? And as you guys know, I'm not happy with the kre-o transformers. Or they don't transform, so they're not really cool, and they're just kind of Lego knockoffs, and I'm a little disappointed, but we're not going to get into that again. But anyway, so I encourage you to make your own. I hope this video helps you guys out a little bit on kind of strategies I use to help with making my Lego formers look good in both modes. If you have any questions or you have topics you want me to discuss on the next episode of Primetime, please leave them in the comments section. I do my best to answer everybody. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got to say today. Happy building, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.